Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we're playing Esper Stoneblade with Stoneforge Mystic. She is going to cook up some awesome equipment to beat our opponents down with, including Cauldron Complete, Pre-War Formal Wear to bring back creatures from our graveyard, and Cryptic Coat, which is just a little engine that allows us to put a whole bunch of creatures into play. And we need creatures because we're playing Kaito, Bane of Nightmares, and we can ninjutsu creatures back to our hand. It's worth noting that if we put something cool under Cryptic Coat, like a Force of Will or a Plow or something, and we ninjutsu it back to our hand, my understanding is we just drew that card effectively. Really powerful. Complementing these powerful threats, of course, we got Teferi too. We've got a couple Snapcaster mages. We are playing a lot of Thoughtseize. I think Thoughtseize is really important right now. There are a lot of combo decks, and we can't really play Daze as a 2 and 3 drop deck. Daze is really for like decks that have a lot of 1-drops, and we don't really. We just have Tamiyo, that's it, and some cantrips. But we are going to hopefully disrupt our opponents sufficiently with Thoughtseize to not die immediately so that we can take over with our mid-range plan. We've got the best removal spell ever printed. We've got the best cantrips ever printed. And we have 4 Wasteland. So even though we're not playing Daze, I like the idea of having a lot of Wasteland. This is something I observed. Harmony Woods, they took Stoneblade all the way to 4th in a recent Legacy challenge over the weekend, and they were playing 21 lands, including 4 Wastelands. So I think in a lot of matchups, we're not actually going to fire these off. We're just going to tap them for mana. And we have, of course, basics of all 3 colors. We've got 9 fetches. We've got a Surveil land. We've got a pretty awesome mana, and I'm excited to deploy it. Also, none of our cards are 2 color pip intensive. Everything is just 1 mana of a color on the card, aside from Kaito and Teferi. So let's take a look at the sideboard. We've got our anti-combo stuff. We've got our anti-graveyard strategy stuff. We've got the 4 consigns and the 3 Harbinger of the Seas that are basically obligatory right now with Eldrazi as strong as it is. We've got 3 Hydroblast for red decks. We've got 2 Prismatic Endings. I'm not playing any main deck. If we really need to get rid of a permanent, we can always do so with Teferi. But I think that Prismatic Ending, there are enough decks that really don't put any meaningful permanents into play that this is a sideboard card. So if we're up against a fair mid-range deck or even Delver or something, we'll probably take out our Thoughtseize and bring in Prismatic Ending, some combination of Hydroblast and Prismatic Endings. So we're going to play a full 5 rounds. As always, I'm very excited to play Control, even though I think it's not well positioned right now. With Sowing Mycospawn, we're going to do our best. See you in round 1. Round 1, we're on the draw against an unknown opponent. We definitely cannot keep this hand. I was kind of worried registering a 21 land deck that we would have land heavy hands, and yeah, this is very land heavy. Also, our opponent is mulliganed. They may be on combo. This hand is also pretty, I mean, it's fine. If they do just turn 1 us, which happened to me earlier, I was like, maybe they're not on combo. And then they just like freaking turn 1 me earlier. So it's definitely a possibility. I think Pre-War is a late game card. We don't need to keep it in our hand. The Ponder and the Tamiyo and the lands are fine though. I'm going to keep bottom that, and I'm just going to hope we're up against a fair deck and not a combo deck. Hope springs eternal, right? Swamp. Thoughtseize. Okay. So this could mean they're on like some Storm deck. Probably going to take our Ponder. If they take our Tamiyo, that tells me a lot about their hand, that maybe they don't have any removal. Okay, so you wouldn't take Tamiyo there unless you were settling in for a longer game. So that is reassuring. It's unfortunate we drew yet another land. I am going to go ahead and surveil this turn. I don't think we'll need the colors. And that way I get to see extra cards when I ponder. I just don't want to burn this ponder and like, find nothing and then, not have any action at all. If they're on like mono black aggro, that's a pretty good matchup for us. Okay. So they could be on Reanimator. I was wavering as to whether to include main deck spell bombs, but I opted not to, looking at Harmony Woods' list, and we're going to get punished if they're on Reanimator not having any main deck graveyard interaction. Okay. Just imperfect brainstorm. I like it. Going to get our archive. That's our only Surveil land. I opted to do a blue-white. Oh, that's good. Yeah, we want that. So we can shake things up over there a little bit, see what they're on. Okay, so I'm just gonna... I think I just fetched the swamp. Yeah, I don't really need another blue source here. And if they counter this, that is fine with me. So it'll be a 2-for-1. I just want to, like, if they have like a reanimation effect, I want to strip it. They may just entomb here. Sure enough. All right, so we're stripping. And our deck can actually potentially fight through a resolved Archon, but we can't necessarily fight through an Atraxa. They know about the plow. Okay. So we have to take whatever reanimation spell they have. We're just going to take this Daze. They did Brainstorm. So, yeah, they could have just put something really scary on top. I think I'm just going to go ahead and ponder. We know their hand doesn't do anything. Their hand is, again, Wasteland and Underground Sea. We see a bunch of cards that don't really set the world on fire. Like in a stalled out state, Tamio's fine, but I don't really want two of her. What do I want? I'm not even sure what I want, but I don't want more land. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle. All right, Bowmasters is good. It's not going to hang with Atraxa, but it is something that does something. They probably have like 7 draws. They may have put the Metamorphosis Fanatic on top with the Brainstorm. That would explain like the Imperfect Brainstorm. There's a waste. If they're wasting us, please waste me all day long. If that's all you got going on, I welcome it. All right. So I think unless we have a reason to play out this Tundra, we should probably just play out the island so we don't have to worry about subsequent Wastelands. They have an Underground Sea in hand. I don't think it's worth restricting their options. That's not what our Wastelands are for, frankly. I'm just going to play this out, and they don't know about the Bowmasters, and they may draw another Daze, and I may look like a fool, but I'm just going to chill. Troll. So, yeah, Wasteland would have been really pointless there. If they get high enough in lands, it does make sense to waste them just to keep them off Hardcast Troll. Undercity Sewers, I mean, like, it's just a matter of time. They're looking at 7 I win the game cards in... This is the Reanimate. Yeah, we're just going to... Man, if they find like a... There's a lot of nasty stuff they can find here. I don't think we cast the Bowmasters now. We could, but if they just have a Fatal Push of their own Bowmasters, is pretty bad. They haven't even played a land for turn yet. Yeah. All right. So again, we do have the Plow, but they're likely to have a Force. If they show, oh, they have double Force. Well, they're going to only be able to keep one of these. Yeah, but they did rip their own Bowmasters, which is why I didn't play mine out. If they try to cast a Ponder, I will try to Bowmaster because I do want to generate some value and like bait the Force out of their hand so that I can plow Atraxa. Because like the way we survive is getting rid of Atraxa. Okay, they chose Orcish Bowmaster, Pluto Delta, Ponder, Force. Okay. So they have the ability to go ahead and play an Orcish Bowmaster here if they so desire. So them having Force on our plow is pretty devastating. If we rip a Thoughtseize, that's probably the best draw we can get right now. Luckily, I do have 4 of them. Come on, Thoughtseize. Okay, Ponder. Okay, so I could bait the Bowmaster out of their hand, but then they can just Force, and then I have a Plow subsequent turn, and I will have the life. Let's see. If I just Plow now, then I'm trying to think about how to do this. Like, they don't have a known Wasteland, and I can always just fire off the Plow if I need to. I'm going to go ahead and play this out now. Now I'm going to attempt to Ponder. And if they Bowmaster, I will... Oh. Well, this doesn't actually save us, unfortunately. Yeah, I need specifically Thoughtseize. I'm going to try to find it. Stoneforge. They will likely force this. I like it better than feeding my Plow to the Force because I do need that Plow. It's possible that maybe they don't interact with this, but like they should absolutely force this. Okay, they're forcing. Good. We got that out of their hand. So now we still have our Bowmaster and our Force for next turn. They're going to attack us and draw 7 cards. Their hand is mostly land, though. Here's their Bowmaster. They're just playing it out, which is fine. So we're going to take 7 here. It's not the end of the world. We can survive. So we just... actually, even if they draw Daze, it's not a big deal. So we Plow, we Bowmaster. We're kind of back in the game. But any reanimation effect gets the Troll back. Okay. And us being in the game may be illusory. Like, it may be that we're not actually in the game. Underground Sea, Animate Dead on Troll. Okay, so now we need to draw even more interaction. We can plow this. I'm going to take a draw step just to see what happens here. This is 5 power. Even if we Bowmaster and do everything. Okay, so we did not draw what we needed. There's no point in showing them any more information. Okay. So here, the cages come in. They do have like a fair plan. I think we can beat their fair plan. At least I like to think that we can beat it. That might involve bringing in Prismatic Ending. Let's think about that. Prismatic Ending hits their Bowmaster. They may have other fair creatures in the deck that we can hit. I don't know if that we should worry about this, though. Okay, so cards that are not particularly good here. I mean, everything. Like, we're kind of pre-boarded. We just need to make room for these Grafdigger's cages. I feel like we could just cut our Wastelands. This is not a Wasteland matchup. Yeah, they can constrict our mana, but, like, we've got tons of... We've still got 18 lands. Maybe we just cut something else and we stay at 19. We're on the play, so Thoughtseize is good here. Yeah, I don't really see any obvious cuts. Snapcaster can be problematic because they can reanimate it and then they can reanimate something else and essentially create 2 bodies. They can also reanimate Snap. I don't think that's too big. Oh, yeah, actually, I'm going to cut the Snapcasters because Snapcaster can't be used with Grafdigger's Cage out. It's a very minor thing, but it is worth noting. And I guess I'll bring in a land. Maybe I bring in 2 lands. Yeah. Okay. So we're back up to 20. Let's do it. So we're putting the deck to the test immediately against the best deck in the format. I do not... some people disagree with me on that, but I will tell you, like, the deck that they're playing has it all. It gets to play, all the best spells other than Plow. Basically, it's playing, like, pretty much every really good legal card, that like non-stompy card. They've got the I win button. They have lots of disruption. They can potentially just waste you out of the game. You can't really waste them out of the game because they just need a single black mana to cast into them and a single black mana to reanimate, and they can win. And almost always they will win. Our deck is a little bit different in that we actually do have plows, so we can remove an Archon, assuming they don't have a force up. But it's still pretty unfavorable. All right. This is a lot of Tomio. I'm just going to yeet one out there and see if they care to interact. We do have the Tomio Brainstorm combo for turn 2. I don't think they're going to waste us, but they certainly could. We could just grab an island here. Yeah, I think it's worth grabbing an island. Or what we could do is we could just, keep this in case we have to fetch another plains. We'll see what they do. I think we don't play on basics because we're going to have something on the board that's applying pressure. Last game we had so many lands. I wouldn't fault them for thinking we had like 25 lands in our deck or something like that. I probably will go ahead and brainstorm before the Bowmasters can come out if they don't waste us here. If they just play it out and don't do anything, that's scary. Okay, great. This is precisely the kind of opening we wanted to see. All right, this is good. So I'm going to go ahead and play the land out. I'm going to attack. I'm going to go ahead and brainstorm. And one reason to brainstorm now is brainstorm is dangerous around Bowmasters. And we know our opponent's playing Bowmasters main deck. So they're probably playing like 4. Oh no, that was the wrong freaking card. Oh, I clicked the wrong card. So bad. So bad. Well, I guess we'll keep the untap one. And we'll chill for a turn. That was a punt. That was a punt. No doubt about it. And now, they could still daze on our brainstorm. Yeah, maybe that was bad. Yeah, I accidentally clicked the wrong card. That extremely rare that happens, but it did just happen. So if they tap out, they're reanimating immediately. I think we just let this happen. Yeah, I'm not going to desperation brainstorm right now. Okay, pre-war formalware. Not what we're looking for here. Perfect card to put back with brainstorm. I'm going to start by attacking. And then I'm going to brainstorm. Hopefully they don't have a force for this. Because if they have a force for this, then we're taking 6 for sure. But if I can find a plow and a land, that would be exceptional. And I can put back the other Tomio and the pre-war. Okay, so these wastelands go back. They're terrible. Gosh, this is terrible. Yeah, like I need to shuffle these away. These are bad. Because she flips. I can plus her. She can absorb a hit this turn. I don't need either of those wastelands. I'm just going to fetch. I'm going to get the Underground Sea. I'm going to Tamiyo. I don't think they're likely to daze this, but they could. And there's nothing I can do about it. Yeah, I'm going to Tamiyo just to ensure that I have something to attack with Kaito, and then I can stun this. Then I'll archive. Now that we're showing... Oh, that is a good card that I want to keep on top. Yeah. It may not matter, but like if they have like a second wave, because Kaito, stun, and then, you know, we're doing all right. The worst thing they could do here would probably be waste us. Yeah, not happy at all with how I'm playing that game. Just throwing a card away, throwing away a mana. Very embarrassing. Okay, they didn't play Wasteland. That's great. Entomb. Yep. Do you have it right now? We have the Force on top of our draw if we can get a draw step. They have it right now. Unbelievable. Well, very believable. This happens all the time, sadly. Yeah, that was a beating. There's no way we're going to come back from that. We had the Force, but it's like very too late. So we're just going to go. I'm going to save everybody time. And yeah, I feel a sense of shame. I misclicked there. But I think if we hadn't misclicked, maybe the game would have been different. We would have been a few cards deeper into our deck. Maybe we would have found a Force. Yeah. And we probably would have been able to put back, you know, one of those redundant Tamiyos. See you in round 2. Round 2, we're on the draw against an unknown opponent, likely combo if they're mulligan. I'm going to go ahead and mulligan. Man, pre-war doesn't really do anything. We do have Brainstorm to fix our hand. Double Thoughtseize is good against combo, but if it doesn't matter if we just get turn 1. If they're on like some aggro plan, this is not a good keep. This is unkeepable due to the lack of colored mana. Again, we're playing 21 lands, 4 of which are Wasteland, so that means we have 17 non-Wasteland lands in our deck. We shouldn't get too many hands like this. This is a no-lander, mulligan. All right. This hand is pretty terrible. Doesn't really do anything. I'm going to keep it, though, because I don't want to go any lower. I think we put back Kaito, put back one of our Stoneforge Mystics, put back a Thoughtseize. Yeah, and then, assuming they don't just completely kill us, this is a flexible hand, but we're almost certainly going to have to ponder for... they kept 6. Okay, Scalding Tarn. They may just be on, like, you know, a fair deck or like a... Okay, looks like they're on Delver. Okay, I don't know that we can beat Delver from 4 cards, but our deck is very favored against Delver. Okay, that's a bad draw. I'm just going to go ahead and fire this off because we may not have the mana next turn to fire it off. So I like to think for a minute because I don't want them to think that like, oh, they just desperately shuffled because they didn't find a land, but we didn't find a land. So we're probably dead. 21 lands in our deck. Yeah, I mean, if they have one of the 4 Wastelands in their deck or if they can sift to 1 this turn, we're very dead. Okay, there's the waste. They are not delirious. They're just hitting for 1. Okay, now Preordain. That's aggro that they're playing that. So that means they're playing 9 cantrips, which is good in the sense that we're playing Orcish Bowmasters. 4 of. That's a cool old border Preordain. Okay, still not delirious. We're just taking 1. Our hand is just like literal do nothing. Like it's a terrible hand. Okay, so I think... I mean, if we plow this, they could daze it, and then we could get wasted. But if we leave it on the board, it can hit us, and it's also a card draw engine. I'm going to make an executive decision. I'm going to get another Tundra, and I'm just going to plow it. And that may seem weird, and we may get wasted. That is entirely possible. But this represents card selection, and it is a threat. And if they daze here, it's okay. Yep, they are dazing. So they are going to get to surveil. But I can't just stand still while this thing beats us down. Okay, they put the bobble in, so they are delirious. All right. They have 0 lands in play, meaning we're not going to get Murktide this turn, but it's certainly something that could happen in subsequent turns. There's the other Wasteland. I'm going to concede. I don't think we're getting out of this. Okay. Game 2. What we're bringing in, I think I mentioned during the deck tech that Hydroblast is very good in this matchup, and that's why I have so many of them. And I think Prismatic Ending is also quite good. Cards that are coming out are our Thoughtseizes, and we could take out a Force. Force is not like really great here. Yeah, and then I'll just bring these in. And I think that's a pretty clean like sideboard change. Now, it is hard to get to 3 mana against them, but we have to. That's like our deck's entire purpose is to get up that high. I'm even going to keep the Wastelands Just as colorless mana sources, because I'm going to assume they're going to be wasting us a lot. Okay. The good news is, this is a keepable hand. We can even play on basics, which I like. And we have a force if we need it. I'm going to keep this. I don't think we do anything fancy here. I'll just play this because I'm most likely just going to get the planes. I'm going to play around. Oh, interesting. So they're on Grixis. That's fine. I'll even let that stay in play for a few turns. I'm not too worried about it. Bobble. So they can do the trick and they have a much higher likelihood of popping it, but they're not doing the trick. They're instead looking at the top card. So I am going to be shuffling just to conceal information here during our upkeep. They did get information. So yeah, I don't want them to know what I have. It's not worth it. And we've already decided we're going to play on basics this game. I think it's a mistake to like pivot into playing on non-basics. Like our deck really can leverage the power of basic lands. I'm just going to chill for a turn. We have Plow with Daze Protection up if we need it. I definitely want to Kaito 2 turns from now. Okay, they're aggro brainstorming here to flip. That's totally fine with me. Again, I'm fine with taking a hit. I am going to be mana efficient probably and Plow this. I might do it pre-damage. I think it's worth keeping our life high. Okay, let's see what they reveal. They reveal Ponder. Okay. Volk. Yeah, I'm just going to Plow now. They could Devil Daze if they really want to protect it. They're thinking really hard like they are considering burning interaction on it. I mean, they've been very aggressive. Like the way they've used these cards so far. If they're forcing, I'm tempted to force. I've got Kaito up. Now, this might be their only threat. I'm going to force back. If they have Pyro, that's so bad for us. Okay. Yeah, and this will all be fine a turn from now when we've got Stoneforge out. And I think the get for Stoneforge, they can't kill Kaldra. It forces them to bolt. I think it's fine. Okay, another Brainstorm. We could get a free... I'm just going to hold it. I'm going to be patient. Grab our island here. Play our Delta out. I mean, considering they're playing bolts and stuff, it may make sense to just get the Kaldra. Kaldra can potentially race a Murktide, but so can Kaito. I think I'm just going to get the Crypticoat because, yeah, Crypticoat is a great card. I think it's underrated. It is very mana intensive. Notably, Crypticoat doesn't have flying, so it can't block their threats. They will be nearly delirious. Okay, Brainstorm. Okay, Delver. I think they're unlikely to block. I'm just going to attack. I'm not going to put the Crypticoat in because I do want to get Kaito out, and Kaito can 0, and even if they flip, we still have Kaito on the table. Is that correct? I would love to draw land here. Snap Plow is a thing we can do. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to Brainstorm and then hopefully find another land. I would like to find a Wasteland to take them off black. I'm not sure what the black is for. We still have 2 mana even if they stop this somehow to... okay, this is great. So Bowmaster, we can play Bowmaster around... yeah, I think the play is just to Bowmaster this turn and kill this. I think we put back Crypticoat. It's pretty mana intensive. Is that correct? I mean, we've got plenty of mana. I think Snapcaster may be important. I think I'm going to put back the Ponder and I'm going to put back Snapcaster. I'm going to go ahead and do the Bowmaster. They may have their own Bowmaster, but I just want to get this off the table. And I think this is more efficient and powerful than Snapcaster. And also it doesn't get just Pyroblasted. Okay, this is a great sequence for us. And now we can attack. And we're just going to slowly beat them down. Next turn, Kaito can come out or Crypticoat, one of the two. That's fine. So they bolted our Bowmaster, but we still have plenty of material on the table for Kaito. If we find a land somehow, then we can't Crypticoat. Okay. So this is fine. Kaito will deal with this. So we just attack with both. And then Kaito can stun. They could have a Pyro. but it'll give us like 2 full turns where we can do stuff. All right, Tamiyo's great. Okay, so options. We could take a hit from it, and then we could deploy both Tamiyo and Crypticode this turn, and next turn we could Kaito, because they're going to swing in and we don't need to necessarily sacrifice a creature. I think I'm going to do this. The other option is we could actually Crypticode and bounce it back to hand. I think I'm going to play the Tamiyo. This way, yeah, it doesn't really matter that much. I'll just chill. We're going to take hate. They could bolt us out of the game. It's a very real possibility here. But once Kaito's down, they shouldn't ever be able to untap their Murktide again. Okay, we're taking it. I mean, if they just have like 3 bolts, that's really bad for us. They played a land. All right, I'm going to go ahead and coat. Let's see what we cloak here. A plow would be insane. We cloaked Bowmasters. That's not bad at all. We could surveil. I think we surveil. I mean, actually, like, we don't really need this. We just put one on top of our deck. It doesn't help our situation. I think we need to dig deeper. Okay. All right, what are we bringing back to hand? I think we can just turn this over if they attempt a cantrip. We have an extra land. It is scary to go down to 6, though. We don't have a life gain mode. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and attack first. I think I just bring Tamiyo back. Then I can deploy her as a blocker after combat. So we connect. I'm going to play this out. Now we have the option. I think we just stun. And then we have the option to flip this and Bowmaster them. And they can't interact with it likely because of the ward. That's the way this works, right? Ward 2 can't be blocked. Oh, no, we can't flip it, can we? Let me check. Okay, so yes, we can do that. Okay, cool. I just wanted to double check. Okay, in that case, I'm going to hold on to my Tamiyo just in case we get like a situation where we can blow them out. Because it's possible that we can kill them if they do something hasty. Brazen Borrower coming out. That can hit us for 3. That can also hit this. Yeah, they could potentially kill this. They almost certainly will kill this. I don't think there's anything I can do here. I could have like cracked the clue to potentially, yeah. So I think they most likely just take this out and then we get another big swing. Okay, Kaito did a good job. He distracted. Okay, preordain. They're 2 bolts for victory or 1 bolt and an attack with Brazen Borrower if we fetch. And I do think we should fetch to draw this card. I guess I could have turned this over there. Okay, now I'm going to do is check this out. They still have the mana. They could, in theory, like interact here. Okay, so I'll just grab an Underground Sea. All right, and now we're going to be able to ping the Borrower. Oh, so good. Crypticode, friends. My excellent friends. Meet Crypticode. Are they dead? Let's think. So we're attacking for 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we do need to ping this thing. We're not going to win next turn. Okay. They play a land. They're fetching. They're pondering. Okay, I love to see it. I think they may have just killed themselves. So now we're attacking for... They have to pay Ward 2. It's Ward 2, right? Oh, it doesn't have Ward anymore. I thought the creature kept the Ward. Okay. Well, all right. For some reason, I thought it kept the Ward, but we still have a formidable presence here. Force is a good rip. We could just pick this up and put it back down this turn. Kind of want to, like, we're at 6 health. I mean, they have 0 cards. I don't think there's a way they can kill us this turn. I think we can just win. If they draw Brazen Borrow, that's really bad because they could borrow and they could create a second attacker. I could just force. I think we can just pick this up and put it back in. I think I'm going to do that. I think that's the conservative thing to do. And then just hold up force for whatever they draw. Because this is going to be stunned for 1 more turn. Oh, if we pick this up, yeah, if we pick this up, put it back in, then we have enough attackers. So even if they find, well, they're not going to resolve it. It doesn't matter. The game is over. I don't believe there's a way they can win. I can just force this. Okay, and I'm just going to do what I said I was going to do. It doesn't matter. You can do it in a different sequence where, yeah, there we go. Flip to Wasteland. All right, now we're just going to attack it for lethal, and the game's over. All right, Bowmaster's very strong. Okay. So I think our sideboard strategy stays the same. On the draw, we might want to have another force in. I don't think we bring a force in. I do frequently die with like force in my hand against Delver, and that may indeed happen here, but I don't think that's correct. With black, does that change anything? They're playing their own Bowmasters. It does make Teferi worse, but Teferi is a pretty powerful way to bounce a Murktide back to hand. Teferi also makes Orcish Bowmasters essentially uncounterable if he's out. I think we take him out. He's a pretty big mana investment. And I'll just bring the force back in. Because we should have lots of cards. Like our deck does create a lot of value. Like we get a Tomio out and we're drawing cards and stuff. Oh no, we can't keep this. No way. I'd love to, but you need to have basics. Okay, this is another hand. Okay, my deck is doing this to me again. Again, this is not representative of what we should see, but you will occasionally see this due to variance. Okay, this is a one-lander, but it is a basic. We have Hydroblast. We have a Force. I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to put back the Bowmaster because I think it's the least important piece here. We're going to get an island, and then we're going to get a Plains. So this is the card that doesn't match. And if we put this back, yeah, I'm just going to put back the put back one of the forces. Yeah. We need a dream. Okay, if they just get like a DRC immediately, I probably will just Hydroblast it during my turn. Yeah, that's what they have. They may be able to generate value immediately. They do. Yeah, this is like the nightmare, basically. I can't believe our 21 land deck did this to us like twice now in just, I think, like 5 games we played with it. Okay. They are bobbling us immediately. Please draw a land, deck. Hook it up. All right. That's not good. I am going to go ahead and get an island here, and I'm going to attempt to Hydroblast it. Like, they could definitely have a Daze. They could definitely have a Force, but we can't just let this stay on there generating value and hitting us. We have to make a shot at it. Okay, and they went Force and Negation there. They still get the Surveil. So it's a 2-for-1, but 2-for-1s don't really matter when you're dying because you can't find land. We don't care about our graveyard, so the fact that it was exiled is irrelevant, other than like late game Tomio flip, which would be, you know, a unlikely scenario at this point. We're just clinging to life here. If we find a Plains and we can get, you know, Mystic, Stoneforge Mystic going and stuff, that's great. I would definitely go get a, if I can successfully Stoneforge, and they didn't show that they had Daze, they may be putting Daze into their hand though. They don't know that we're completely mana screwed. This is still their turn 2, despite the amount of stuff they have in their graveyard. They put a Murktide in there, so we're getting hit for 3. We're dropping to 16. I mean, our deck could just decide to do us a solid and give us one of the 9 fetch lands in there that we can use to go get a basic Plains. We can use 5 of them to get a basic Plains. I will just get a Tundra if I can't get it. Okay, there's the Cryptic Coat. All right, we're just sitting here getting hit. This happens. I don't think we did anything wrong. We couldn't keep either of those previous hands. You never keep like a Surveil land hand against Delver when that's your sole land. You really need a basic if you're going to be a one-lander. And this deck does not, it's not a tempo deck. Like, you don't want to be keeping one-landers, but you also don't want to be mulling to like nothing. All right. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to attempt to Stoneforge. No, I think we do just plow to get this off the table. Then we can force future threats. Yeah, I'm going to do it. And that may seem cowardly, but like, what does Stoneforge do for us right now? It does nothing for us. Okay, I'm going to force. I just don't want to be dealing with this DRC every turn. Stoneforge, we already got the equipment that we would have gotten with it. Okay, they get a Surveil on the way out. They may already have a Murktide in hand, in which case that's tragic. But that at least means that it's not a Wasteland. We can try to, you know, Stoneforge. Getting Caldera, getting like everything we need to get would require us. Okay, Delver, that's a huge relief. Okay, and no Wasteland. All right, so I am going to attempt to Stoneforge here for sure. All right, we even got the land. All right, so we are going to go ahead and the first one always grabs Caldera. The second one can grab from where? Because we don't have anything to bring back yet, but if they kill this, then we will have it. So let's get the Caldera. Caldera can probably not race a Delver, but if they don't flip it, it can. We can Surveil here. I'm not as worried about Wasteland now. As long as we have white and a colorless and we can race their Delver, we'll be okay. Okay, Delver didn't flip. That's huge. There's the bolt. All right. Stoneforge is doing a good job. Unfortunately, we're down to our last equipment. You should never play more than 3, in my opinion, but you do run into situations like this where, you wish you were playing a 4th one. I mean, I guess maybe like Ume's always GTA in the sideboard if you're a mad lad. So we are going to double up on white because we need the Surveil trigger. This goes in the graveyard. We're looking for removal. Prismatic Ending would be fantastic. Brainstorm is good. I want to brainstorm first because I want to brainstorm this Caldra back. They have 1 card in hand. It might be a Daze. Might be a Pyroblast. Okay. So we're going to put this back. We're going to put this back so we can shuffle. Land for turn. I'm going to go ahead and do the shuffle here. And I'm going to resolve this one first. Now I can get pre-war. And pre-war suited up on a Tamiyo. It's pretty good. And we do have mana to equip. So I'm going to get pre-war here. And then I'm going to attempt to play Tamiyo. And if they kill Tamiyo, that's no big deal. I'll just pre-war next turn and put her back in play as a 2/4. So we could go ahead and get the Black Source. I think that's totally fine now. Yeah. We're at 9, which is a little bit of a cause for concern. I can't believe we're still in this game. I'm not sure. I'm not saying that we're going to win necessarily, but we are doing stuff, which is a great relief. Thank you, deck, for giving us some lands. All right. Do they flip? I mean, as crazy as it might be, like if they did flip, I might just throw Tamiyo in front of it because I can just bring it right back. All right. And this is where I think we've kind of turned the corner. We're not like 100% there. I'm going to go ahead and do this first. So pre-war comes in. I love this card. Cost me a pretty penny on MTGO. It was like $1 on Divine Paper. This is what kind of revitalized the Stoneblade archetype, in my humble opinion. So we can go get our Cauldron now. And then what I'm going to do, check this out. It's 3 mana to equip. It gives it vigilance so I can attack with Tamiyo and I can still hang back and block. Yes, we're going to use the ability. Caldra. Land for turn. I'm just going to go get my planes here. No, I'll get a second Underground Sea. I mean, I think it's unlikely that they have Price of Progress in. I will just die if they have Price of Progress. I don't think it's likely they have it. Gosh, if they do have it, we're just dead. Would they be crazy enough to do that? It doesn't shut off that much of our deck. It's really just Bowmaster and Kaito if we get to planes like a coward here. Yeah. I think I'm going to do it. I've got Price of Progress on the brain. I've been using it a lot. It's a really good card in Delver. Check out my channel for videos where I've been playing it. Okay, so we're moving it over here. Tommy is going to be taking it to the streets. Doobie Brothers style here. With her spiffy Fallout outfit. Just imagine a punked out Tommy. I mean, she's already pretty punk looking with those giant, spikes on the side of her head. I'm not sure if that's just hair and a canonical, kind of like Princess Leia, but with punky. Okay, I think we're in a very good position here. But our opponent didn't concede last game, even though we had him to lethal. So maybe they won't concede again. We'll see. They reveal a Tarn. Okay. I feel very favored here. Next turn, Calder comes out. We can even... We're not going to unequip Tamiyo. Man, how good was that freaking pre-war? They've got to kill both of these if they want to keep Calder off their back. This is where having a Surveil land in their deck would be really good. I don't know that they do. Most Delver players don't, but I did play one in my recent Delver video, and it was so good. I surveilled left and right. There are situations where Surveil lands will be in your opening hand, which was precisely why we had to mulligan so deep. If that was just a fetch or even a Tundra, maybe I wouldn't keep a Tundra. It's got to be Island Ponder Keep against them or some path to basics if you're on a low land hand. If you've got 2 or 3 lands in play, it's okay not to have basics. All right. We are back. My opponent decided to just not do anything for 6 or 7 minutes. All right. My opponent did the exact same thing for several minutes. Okay. So they do seem to be passing priority to me, which is nice. I'm going to go ahead and just put this in and we're going to start beating them. All right, I'm just going to hold up mana to activate Clue. I'm not going to bother getting rid of this because we can block it. We can always move the pre-war over to this if we need to, just to get a 7/7 striking. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and... could I die due to Bowmasters by flipping this? Kind of. Yeah, I don't really have any counterplay. I'm just not going to crack it. Like, it's not necessary to crack the clues. Now we have Force. I'm just going to go to combat with everything. They have to block. It's like a force block. If they play out a Bowmasters, I will attempt to force it, and then they can daze it. No, wait, it's not a force block. They're just taking 9. Okay, they've got 2 life left. They can't even fetch both of these lands. Okay, here's the Bowmasters. I'm just going to attempt to counter it. And cracking those clues last turn would have been catastrophic because they would have had like these big things that they didn't need to get. Okay, they transform. They found a Ponder. Okay, they're pondering. Pondering again. Okay, they've used up their lands. They played another land. Okay. Your opponent never owes you a concession. But, yeah. There's a saying, just sign the slip. Luckily, they're not chatting with me. All right, we're coming in for our final attack. The fact that pre-war gives vigilance is so good. Like, it's just such an incidentally great thing with Tamiyo. Pre-war and Tamiyo were made to be together. She was made to punk out. All right, good game. So I'm going to go watch some One Piece and eat some food with my kids, and we will be right back. But it will be tomorrow, but we'll be right back due to the magic of editing. Round 3. It is 2 days later, and I'm a little sick. We're up against a... So if my voice sounds different, that's why. I'm also not going to talk as boisterously as normal. This is a perfectly good hand against an Eldrazi opponent. We've got the Tamiyo combo. We've got our basics. We've got Stoneforge, which can pressure them if they have a slow start. So far, they've mulled to 6. Okay, it looks like they're not on Eldrazi, which is a relief. I'm fine with testing against Eldrazi, but I think I've probably played against Eldrazi more than I've played against any other deck, except for maybe Blue-Black Reanimator. They're opening with Volcanic Island Ponder, so this could be Sneak and Show. Let's take a look at their history and see whether they've ever played Sneak and Show. No, I don't see any. In Legacy, they've just played Mystic... Oh, Doomsday. Yeah, I'm going to presume they're on Sneak and Show. Yeah, there, the pedal. We didn't have to presume for too long. All right. So, unfortunately, we don't have any interaction for this. Other than Wasteland, which I think is fine. Yeah, I think I'm going to fire this off. They did not shuffle. Yeah, I'm just going to do this, and hopefully it's disruptive. We'll get some more information. But like every turn cycle we have is a turn that we could potentially draw a force. I don't think they're going to... I mean, they could just go Ancient Tomb, show and tell next turn. That's certainly possible. But if I can get them to have to burn a cantrip on this pedal, for example, that'd be good. Opponent's tanking on this Wasteland. They may be multi-queuing because I'm late to this because I was looking them up and doing some other things. But they've been like pausing for long periods of time periodically throughout the game. Right. Looks like they're passing through their turn without play, which is phenomenal for us. I do think we play the Underground Sea and just Tamiyo here. I don't know that they have anything to do about it. We have our basics if they, for some reason, go in on like some Blood Boon strategy, which I doubt they will. But, I mean, basics in the hand are just as good as basics on the table for most intents and purposes. We can't protect Tamiyo this turn, but again, I don't think they likely have any removal. They probably just have counter magic. All right, they're playing a second pedal here, and they're passing. That's great for us. Again, I think I'm going to go ahead and play out the... Well, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to attack, and then I'm going to attempt to brainstorm. I don't think they'll likely have a pedal. They could daze at an extremely high cost. What I'd like to do is find a fetch because I do want to get rid of these plows. I don't think they're going to be good in this matchup. And if I find a Wasteland, well, okay, this is perfect. It's not perfect, but I'm going to put back one of the plows and one of the Stoneforges. I mean, these are just terrible cards, frankly. We already have plenty of stuff. I'll keep one plow just in case of like an absolute emergency, but it would need to be an absolute emergency We can't plow Emrakul, but we can plow Atraxa and buy time. Okay, they're not doing anything. This makes me want to just surveil here. We have the planes. Well, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I'll just grab the archive here. Kaito. I mean, it's an above average draw for sure. It's like a turn away. It's a blue card for force. Yeah, I'm going to keep it. And I totally understand if you disagree with that keep. I'm going to go ahead and brainstorm first. Looking for Force of Will. Thoughtseize is phenomenal. Teferi is great too. What I'm going to do is I think I am going to put back this plow. Notable, Teferi can bounce an Emrakul back to hand if they somehow get an Emrakul on the table. I don't think we're going to need a second Mystic. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to... I feel like we pretty much have to Thoughtseize them here. There's like a serious risk that if we just play the Stoneforge and continue to play slowly, we're going to get destroyed. I am going to go ahead and Thoughtseize first. Okay, and they have Show and Tell. They're just waiting for mana. Okay, so, wow. They did have the daze. They chose not to daze my Thoughtseize, which I think, yeah, I can understand why they did that. Well, we're going to take the Show and Tell here. Yeah, like that Wasteland was absolutely clutch. We would be dead without that Wasteland. Okay, and then I can't really do anything else. I do want to rebuy this Thoughtseize, but I'll just plus for now. And I'll play out another island, I guess. Next turn we can play Teferi. We're going to draw a bad card. Okay, they're cracking. This is fine. We still have 0 pressure. I am going to try to ultimate with Tamiyo rather than regrow the Thoughtseizes, I think, because that'll end the game. Okay, they now have mana to play it if they have it on top. They can also Yggdrasil, but they're going to have to luck. I mean, they may have actually found something. I can just bounce this to hand, actually. I think that's what I'll do, is I'll Teferi and I'll bounce it to hand. And then I'll plus. Actually, it may be correct to minus and Thoughtseize them again. If we Thoughtseize them again, that is mana efficient. They would need to draw exactly a Show and Tell. They need a Show and Tell and a land to be able to Thoughtseize. So I don't think they're going to be able to get both unless they magically drew one and not the other. But we know they're either their draw or their no, I think their draw for turn was Ponder, and then they pondered and found the Ancient Tomb. So I think we're safe just Teferrying and then ultimating Tamiyo. They don't even have the ability to daze here. Okay, they just scooped to that. All right, wow. I consider us very lucky to have won that game because their deck failed to produce enough mana. So we didn't see any red, but we saw Volk. So we're gonna bring in Hydroblast. Hydroblast is very good here. I think Consign is an above average card. I don't usually bring in Prismatic Ending until they give me a definite reason to do so. I think Plow comes out completely. We can cut some land. They're unlikely to disrupt us mana-wise. We could maybe even just cut both of our basics and just have an island. We have Hydroblast in case they use the Blood Moon strategy. I don't think pre-war matters here. And if we're cutting one of the equipment, I'm going to argue that we should cut one of the Stoneforge Mystics as well. We drew tons of them and we never used one because we just had better things to do. Yeah, I think this is good. We've got a pretty disruption-heavy hand here. Yeah, let's do it. And we may adjust further once we know a little bit more about what their sideboard strategy is likely. All right, this is a pretty solid hand. We do have Force of Will. We've got Ponder and Snap. If we need it, we can even turn 3, Snapcaster, Ponder again, assuming we find another land. And then Kaito. But Kaito is almost certainly going to be the pitch because it's just slowest wind up. Snapcaster is good because it can rebuy disruption spells like Hydroblasts or Consigns. Consign's not an exceptional card in this matchup, but it's not bad. We can potentially consign the Atraxa trigger. We would need to get rid of her somehow. Really, the only ways we have of getting rid of her in this deck, because we're not playing Brazen Borrower, would be to Kaito stun her while we kill. Or, and Kaito can stun multiple times. You stun, then you plus, then you plus, then you stun. Actually, you can only stun plus stun, and then you have to basically kill them by that point. But with Kaito attacking every turn and the plus, it's like what? 3 plus 8 damage? Potentially, that's 11 damage. It may not be enough. And then we have Teferi, of course, to bounce. Okay, they're fetching. Island. Ponder. Okay, the classic opening. So, I do think it's fine to go ahead and ponder here. We could find a second force. We do have a second blue card for force. I think I'm just going to take a Underground Sea here. Okay, these are all great. We don't really need the second Bowmaster. I think Wasteland is good as either a source of mana, which we can just fetch our Tundra and then we'll have plenty of mana to do everything we need for this game. Yeah, so I think I'll take the Wasteland this turn, and then if they have something to disrupt my hand, I'm not going to pitch the Wasteland. I would definitely pitch Kaito first. Hydroblast is too good, so I'll take that. I don't think they're going to have hand disruption, but just in case. Okay, they have the mana to do it. I mean, my instinct is not to force this, but we do have Consign. I think I am going to force this. I'm going to go ahead and pitch Kaito, and maybe they'll get into a force fight over this. But this is like a kind of an all-in-one combo. They don't need an answer to go with that. They just need to gradually dig to one, and we don't have a clean way to remove it. I didn't bring in the prismatic endings. You could argue that I should have. I think the simplest thing to do here, we want to hold this up so we can instep Bowmaster if they play a red spell. We do need to shuffle, so we can shuffle and get our white. That's one of the reasons I got the Underground Sea earlier, is because our Surveillant is the blue-white one. But it is worth getting Bowmasters on the table to punish their cantrips. I'm not sure that I would Bowmaster a Ponder here, but I would Bowmaster a Brainstorm probably. We did have the option of wasting there, but I wanted to shuffle away the other Bowmaster. That may have been greedy. But I'm worried that we wasted turn cycle. Okay, yeah, they would have had the Soul Land. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do here other than put Bowmaster in play. I think, yeah, we just have to let it resolve, unfortunately. And maybe it was a mistake to hit the Yggdrasil. I think I'm actually going to put the Wasteland in play here because that gives us the ability. Let's see. If we get Caldra, can we race? They're attacking for, 7 with the lifelink? I don't think we can race. I'll just they did get Atraxa here. Atraxa notably not red, so it's just a slap in the face that they didn't give her red of all the shards. All right, let's see what they drew. They are on Magus of the Moon. Sending the Spirit Guide. They'll probably take the Daze. So we do have Daze protection if we want a Bowmaster here, but I'm thinking it's most likely not going to matter too much. Okay, they took Daze, Show and Tell, Atraxa, Valk. Okay, so those are the known cards. We took all our plows out. Like I said, the only answer we have is, and we already pitched our Kaito, which might have been good enough. Yeah, because we could have stunned and attacked 3 times maybe. We could have gotten Stoneforge in the mix. Yep. All right, I am going to go ahead and Bowmaster, and if they don't Daze, then I'm going to Surveil as well. Just going to try to put as much damage on them as I can. And this is a 7/7. Fetching does not change their clock, so I'm definitely going to go ahead and do it. Teferi does bounce this back to hand, but they do have a Show and Tell. So they have a second Atraxa at bat on deck. Snap number 2, not really what we're looking for. We're looking specifically for Teferi, but we need a land before we can use it. Consign would have been good against the trigger. Yeah, let's just go to the next game. I can get a... Okay, so let's try this out. We'll just play it out. I'm just going to go get a... I mean, if they go ahead and Show and Tell Atraxa, then I can potentially put Snapcaster into play. It won't really help us. I can put Caldra directly into play. Cryptic Coat didn't really help us. Yeah, we're going to get Caldra, and then we'll put it into play if they Show and Tell again for some reason. But it's not going to matter. Yeah, and these don't actually attack or do anything. They just kind of make their cantrips inconvenient. Yeah, they're just brainstorming right through our cantrip. All right, not really any point in putting the pings on them on Atraxa because there's no way in heck that we're going to do enough damage. She has vigilance, so we're not going to be able to attack back with this Orc army unless they brainstorm yet again. They have a Valk they can drop here if they want to show and tell again. What is this, One Ring? Okay, so they didn't play the Valk that we know about. They're putting a lot of mana in play, and we know they still have that Daze. Sneak attack. So they don't have a red mana. I'm going to hit this next turn with Hydroblast. I don't want it to get... does it make sense to get the Daze out of their hand? Because if we blast now, they will Daze it probably. And then we can just snap it back next turn. I'm trying to think of whether that makes sense. No, I just want to put the Cauldron next turn. I want to draw a land is what I want. Okay, Force is not atrocious. I'm just going to put Cauldron. Yeah, and now I can Daze I can force the Daze. Not like a super strong play, but it does prevent us from just dying next turn to attract, so it'll buy us a turn. Yeah, I'm just going to do it now. Expect them to counter, which I will counter, and then they may counter back. This is desperation right here. And in retrospect, playing it at the end of this, yeah, it wouldn't have mattered. Damn it. I let the Daze resolve. Yeah, that was bad. I'm pretty sure we're dead here. Yeah, they can just Atraxa. I'm going to concede. Okay. Yeah, I meant to force the Daze. That was the plan, and I just misclicked. Sorry, my excellent friends. Okay. So, game 3. I still don't think we bring in the Plows. I mean, like, you just stop them from resolving the Atraxa. Usually after the Atraxa has resolved, you've lost. With them playing Magus of the Moon, maybe it makes sense to bring a Plains back in and to cut. I don't want to cut a Wasteland. It was so strong in that first game. I mean, they have lots of Soul Lands, but you know what? Plains doesn't really matter here that much. Yeah, I'm not going to bring it in. I'm just going to keep it as is. Okay. So we're on the play now for the first time. This is a Thoughtseize hand, if I've ever seen one. I like the idea of Thoughtseizing and the next turn being able to Tomio and Protector, and maybe they'll sink resources into Tomio. If we brainstorm, we can put back a Tomio. I think I'm keeping this. We can fetch a basic island here if we need to, because we won't have... But Thoughtseizing now plays around Daze. If they force, that's okay. That's a force they won't have when they attempt to resolve their big spell. Most of our deck is blue anyway. Okay, so they do have Show and Tell. It's 2 turns away. I mean, that's the card they're going to be looking for. They can brainstorm for other stuff. I think we just take the Show and Tell for now. It is the most mana efficient enabler they have. It's worth noting that if they resolve a Show and Tell, Omniscience comes in, and then Emrakul not only gets cast, it's uncounterable, and they get an extra turn, which means we're dead, basically. So we just, as I said earlier, like, Plow is not the right card in this matchup, in my humble opinion. Like, by the time the spell resolves, the game's over. Plow can't even target Emrakul. Right there. Cracking their fetch for an island, and they're brainstorming. Oh, they're pondering. They drew a ponder. That's good for them. Okay, so here's something that I think is... You can certainly argue it's incorrect, but aggro flipping Tomio to be able to Thoughtseize them a second time is something we could do here. I think it's unlikely that they're able to directly interact with our Tomio. We can get an imperfect shuffle and shuffle 1. It's possible that like a Force of Will gets baited out here. They are, as far as we can tell, at least 1 mana away from playing out like a Show and Tell, even if they find it. They're 2 away from Sneak Attack, and Sneak Attack isn't even like death necessarily. We just lose all our permanents, which doesn't mean we necessarily die. However, if we crack both of these, we will drop below 15 and we will die immediately to Emrakul. It's a minor consideration. I think I'm going to go ahead and go for the flip. Thoughtseize is basically the best card in our deck against them. And I am going to grab the island just in case they do go like on a Blood Moon path. They may force here. Okay, they didn't force. We found a second Thoughtseize, which is exceptional. Wasteland is going to be good against that Valk in their hand. I'm just going to put back both of these. So we can Thoughtseize and we can Thoughtseize a second time next turn and completely shred their hand. We can't Thoughtseize and waste though, so we might want to waste instead. I'm hoping that they don't stack like the important stuff on top and that we do get to Thoughtseize twice. I do want to Thoughtseize twice because I want to shuffle and get rid of that other Tamio. I'll take one Tamio as a force pitch. I'm going to go ahead and play this out. Let's Thoughtseize. Okay. Magus, again, kind of annoying. And we barely use white. We use white only for Stoneforge Mystic at this point, but we do use black for Thoughtseize. My instinct is just take the force here, and then we can regrow and we can take the Magus. They could certainly have a key card on top of their deck. They do have a Lotus Petal to play it out. I think we just have to accept that risk. Let's get the Thoughtseize back. I mean, one thing we could do is we could take the Brainstorm and use that instead. But I don't think that's correct. I think we just have to hope that they don't have the card on top of their deck. But like an experienced Sneak and Show player would definitely just put that on top of their deck. All right, I'm going to go get the other Underground Sea here. Thoughtseize them again. And we'll take the Magus just because they can cast it. They can't cast any of the other ones. These are all payouts. Do we deploy the Tamio? She can help us draw. We're not currently using her for a force pitch. I think we do. All right, let's see whether we're dead. Pedal. Okay, so their draw for turn was Misty Rainforest. I guess, did they put back the Volk? I think they put it back. So now they're drawn wild. So they didn't have it, which is great news for us. And now Tamio can start to take over the game. Both sides, generating clues. This is a waste. Should manage their resources here. We'll attack. I don't want to throw Tamio into Oblivion, the Planeswalker half, just to be able to get Thoughtseize back. I do kind of want to go all the way with Tamio and Ultimate. That was the draw for turn. Okay, their hand is still known. We're going to draw a card. All right, we've got a clock. Although I think Tamio herself represents a pretty decent clock. We don't have white mana currently. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and surveil. And if I can surveil like some really good instant or sorcery into the yard, I might just... I don't want to regrow. If I just regrow the Brainstorm, I can get a new Tamio. And I can have a card to pitch to force. Oh, this is the card on top. Well, this is a known blue card, which pairs with force. So even though we don't want this card, kind of tempted to keep it. Yeah. Go ahead and attack, and we'll have our clue, and we can crack that, and we can bring the force into our hand, and we can stop our, if they have like a brutal card. Otherwise, I think Tamio is just going to be the path to victory, but they could have like a Pyroblast. I mean, we could play out this Bowmaster just to restrict their mana a little bit, make their cantrips less comfortable. I think it's fine. In the end step, I'm going to do that. Next turn, we can still crack this clue. We'll have the mana. Tamio's going all the way up. We're attacking for everything. I'm not going to bother playing out the Stoneforge. I think it's better to be able to double clue crack in an emergency. Okay, that may be their draw for turn. I'm going to crack both of these clues. Another Bowmaster. That speeds up the clock, but we're about to draw our deck. Let's see, we have 40 cards. Let's just draw 20. That's going to flip this Tamio. I could have attacked with her first, but I don't think it really matters. And I'm kind of rewarded for not doing it because now I have a Kaito. I think the correct thing to do is go ahead and Thoughtseize just to make sure they haven't drawn anything that's particularly disruptive. I'm going to make my hand visible. Yeah, we got lots of interaction here. Flusterstorm, I think, is fine. And I think we can waste the Tomb, restrict their mana. Yeah, we've got like 3 forces. I'll just go ahead and play this out to speed up the clock. I could have Kaito'd there, but now any cantrip they rip is pretty much fatal. Let's see, we have 3 forces and a consign. They're not getting through all this. All right, so we're 2-1. Let's go to round 4. Round 4, we're up against an unknown opponent with a mulligan. This is an easy mulligan because we don't have a force against an unknown opponent. They've opted to keep, but we do have this Caldera. We don't have anything to pair with our Snapcaster. We're literally just sitting around for a turn. I think this is a mulligan. This is better. So I'm going to keep this. My instinct is to bottom the Wasteland because there's a decent chance that it may not matter. However, if they're on Urza Saga strategy, it may matter. We can always fetch an island if we need to. Yeah, the Wasteland is not key to our game plan. I'm going to put it back. It's basically a spell. Okay, and I'm glad I put it back. They're on probably like mono black strategy. We were going to let them Thoughtseize us here. If they take the force, they're on something unfair. Probably like the most reasonable take if they're on a creature strategy is just taking the Ponder to like strand us with the cards. They may take the Plow. If they take Plow, obviously they're on a creature strategy. But if they take Force, then they're probably on something unfair. And the highest overall impact card in our hand is probably Tamiyo. But I'm going to Ponder rather than deploy Tamiyo. Okay, so I believe they're just on mono black aggro here by taking the Plow, which is not a great matchup. Actually, I'd prefer them. Well, maybe this is a better matchup. Okay, so now that we drew the Brainstorm, I definitely want to open maybe Tamiyo. And then, no, I'm going to open Ponder. And I'm looking for a land. And like some other interaction spell. I mean, this is pretty much perfect here. The Snapcaster can buy back our Plow that they discarded. I think what we do is we just take the Delta now. We can draw these other ones. I do have to not fetch if I want to get that Snapcaster though, which I can do. I can just chill. Play Tamiyo, chill. If they don't try to kill it, then I can Brainstorm. So we can force pitch Brainstorm here. We don't have any answers to this, and this could be their only... Yeah, I think this early in the game we do force this. We have a second Brainstorm on top. They may not realize we have it because, of course, we just pitched one. They saw it, and... Okay, Shadowy Backstreet. So they're actually on... If I'd looked at the number of cards in their deck, I would have seen they were on Yorion. I just missed that notification that they revealed Yorion. So they're just on... yeah, but I am glad that and now it makes totally perfect sense that they got rid of the Plow here. All right, so we'll just play this out. We can get a basic island if we need to. If they play a Caracas, I can just Brainstorm. But I definitely want to create a clue first, and I also want to draw the Snapcaster. Snapcaster is going to be really, really good in this matchup because we need to eke out value where we can. Stoneforge, that's fine. I can just Snap Plow it and then strand them with the Caldera in hand. Phantom Blade. Okay, so Phantom Blade costs 5 mana, I believe. Okay, I used to be able to just like press G over this. Okay, I'll fix that after the settings. But it's in the revealed section. Yeah, it's a 5 mana spell. So if we get rid of this, there's a good chance it won't come out for a while. I don't know. I think it destroys a creature whether it gets attached or not. Yeah, up to 1 target creature. Okay. And then it gives, what is it, Death Touch? +1/+1 and Menace. Okay. All right. So I am going to Snap Plow here instead of flipping Tamiyo. So we'll draw the Snapcaster. Now I'll play the land. I guess I can just attack first, just in case they try to Plow for some reason. Okay. I mean, we could just let them put this in with an empty board, and then, but I'm worried that they got this because they actually have Caldera in hand. It's not necessarily the case, but it could be the case. I'm going to get double Tundra here. I don't want to get wasted off colors. I'm not going to play on basics. They're unlikely to disrupt our land en masse with like a Blood Moon type effect. So Snap comes in. We're going to target Plow. We're going to Plow. So they did get a 2-for-1, but we got a 2-for-1 too. And we do have our clues active. Our hand is basically empty though. That force was, and the fact that we mulliganed. Okay, another Backstreet. They may be looking for mana because now like they have 2 different things to do at 5 mana. They kept. Okay, 4th land. I can't stop them from getting rid of my Tamiyo, unfortunately. It is a 2-for-1 technically, but they got a 2-for-1 too. If we can figure out a way to kill this, I am going to go ahead and Brainstorm here. They can't Bowmaster yet, and I might be able to find a fetch and shuffle away some bad cards. Thoughtseize is not spectacular, but I think I'll just put this back for now. We'll do like that. I am going to Thoughtseize them. I think I probably just hold the Snapcaster back because we need to... I think Lion Sash is actually more dangerous here because we have a lot of permanents and they have a lot of mana. I'll just pass. I can't really do anything. I will block if they attack, but if I attack them, they're doing 2 damage to me and I'm lower in the life. I'd be losing the race. They've already used both their Surveil lands. They're fetching an upkeep, probably getting planes. Another planes. Okay, now they have 5 mana and they can Phantom Blade. Yeah, that's fine. And so they're going to be hitting for 3 here. We are drawing dead. I'm like pretty tempted to just scoop here. We've got so little going on and they have some degree of inevitability in Yorion, but I'm just going to draw this card. And I think, sadly, we do Thoughtseize them again. Their hand is Bogart Trawler. I mean, they may have drawn something. No, that is literally their hand. I'm going to do it because that could hit for 3. And I don't think our graveyard is going to be particularly relevant, but we have literally nothing going on. I'm not just going to hold that Thoughtseize because they'll cast whatever they cast. I guess I could have waited till they put into hand with Yorion. So we're taking 3 here. Rapidly losing life, but a plow does a lot here if we find it. In my opinion, like you want to stop there. Okay, probably putting Yorion into hand. Yeah. Wasteland. All right. They're going to waste us off black, I imagine. Yep. Not that it would have really done a lot for us, but we are pretty far from hardcast. Yep. I'm going to concede. We are definitely dead. We would need to draw like plow and like probably another plow. And yeah, we weren't drawing those. Okay. This is a bad matchup, but it's not as bad of a matchup as it is for tempo decks because we are a control deck. We have Prismatic Ending, which is quite good against them. I will 100% stand by forcing that Aether Vial, by the way. Like you always force that in my opinion. That's like the thing that allows them to kind of cheat on mana and get ahead in the game. Consign is not worth bringing in my humble opinion. Thoughtseize is pretty good against them. I think we could cut a Wasteland. We're not trying to tempo them. Wasteland is really just like a spell. I really think that's it. Like we could cut a Tamio. Tamio's not good against Crocus. And they probably have 3 to 4 Croci in their deck. Okay. So we're keeping basically any functional hand. And this is a functional hand. Brainstorm can put this back. Like, in my humble opinion, you don't mulligan aggressively against Death and Taxes style decks because you need every single card. Yeah, it's not like a great hand. What I'll do is I'm going to play out the Delta first, and then next turn I will play Tundra and use the Delta to brainstorm away this Caldra. If they play out a Caracas, it doesn't even matter currently. That's the main use for Wasteland is answering their Caracas. Okay, there is a Caracas. There's a Vial. Yeah, I'm not going to YOLO Brainstorm. I respect the Vial, but we did bring in 2 Prismatic Endings to be able to address it. All right. So we're going to go ahead and start with just brainstorming to get rid of bad cards. And I do like doing this around. Oh, yeah, this is a bad card now. This is a bad card. These other cards are fine, though. I can get a Surveil land here. I think it's the best use of our mana. All right, they're passing after playing a Windswept Heath. Let's go fetch. They could have like end step. What's her name? Mother of Runes. This is above average card. So if they have end step Mother of Runes, we can't really do anything about it, unfortunately. I think Stoneforge. Well, I mean, technically we can plow it. That feels bad when you have a Bowmasters in hand. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this. I do think that Stoneforge Mystic is fine here. If we Bowmaster, though, they could Bowmaster us back, and we need Bowmaster Supremacy. I do like the idea of having 2 attackers so we can be more likely to get Kaito in. I think I'm just going to chill. Actually, I do think it's fine to go ahead and use a Ponder here. Just to be mana efficient, set up our next few draws, and maybe they Bowmaster this. These cards are okay. We don't really want the Tamio in the face. Oh yeah, I'm going to get rid of these. I don't really need more land. Second plow is fine. Now we've got a lot of stuff we can do against them. Please put in Mother of Ruin so I can ping her. Okay, they're fetching. Bowmasters does a lot of work in this deck. It hits Thalia if they're even playing Thalia. I think a lot of them have stopped playing Thalia. But it also, of course, hits Mother of Runes. which is a must kill. All right, their mana is developing very well. All right, I am going to just Bowmaster here, and they could definitely Bowmaster back. But we have more Bowmasters in our deck than they do. It feels bad to just yeet the Bowmaster out there, but we do have Kaito coming. Kaito is a little bit risky because they can just file in something to beat Kaito with. All right, that third plow is pretty awesome. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to attack with... I think I attack with both. Then I can Kaito and plow. And maybe they vial something in that we can hit with... okay, so they are vialing something in. They're going to get a trigger here. Is it a Bowmasters? If it's a Bowmasters, that's pretty unfortunate. If it's like a, you know, White Orchid Phantom, that's what I meant to say. Yeah. That's not that big of a deal. Let's see where they target it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and float. The ability is going to resolve. I'm going to go get a Plains. It comes into play tapped. That sucks. Yeah, we got the mana. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah, I think Plains is what we need here, considering we are down to like one blue source. We go ahead and hit it. Okay, now we go to blocks. Okay, let's go ahead and Kaito here. Our hand is almost completely white, so I think it's okay. We always bring back the Bowmasters because Bowmasters can ping our opponent, take out their creatures, and it can also create another chump blocker if we need it. Okay, so since they've already used... I don't think they have any flash threats other than Bowmaster. And I think if they had Bowmaster, they would have probably done something with it there. I think I am going to go ahead and surveil here. Okay, this is fine. I don't want this force. I'm just going to put it in the graveyard, and I will keep this blue source. We've already played a land. We'll pass. Feeling pretty good about this game. Just the preponderance of interaction is great. Okay, so they're playing Disruptor Flute. Yep, this is probably going to name Kaito. So this stops any abilities. And then we can't, but he can still attack. They still have to get him off the board. He's just a 3/4 that doesn't have any abilities now. Disruptor Flute is something we can kill with Prismatic Ending if we find it. But I would probably prioritize killing the Aether Vial. Okay, Vial. Skyclave. All right. That is fine. They chose Wasteland as their Disruptor Flute thing. Yeah. So we are going to get a 4-drop when we kill this, which does apply even more pressure than the Kaito himself. It's interesting they chose to name Wasteland there. Yeah. Okay, so I think what we do here is I'm just going to start by attacking with this Orc Army. They should not block it. That would be crazy. They should know it's a trick. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and ping here. And then I'll just ping it a second time, I guess. Yeah, I just want to get it off the table. And I'll do some extra damage. So we're kind of trying to tempo them now. So we get a 4/4. They can no longer Yorion that. We're dealing 3 damage to them. We still have Plow up. That is okay. That's great. I mean, that's value. Now we get the 4/4. We're going to pass. Except they're fetching their other shadowy backstreet. They'll have 4 mana online. They're getting close to being able to use Yorion, but they only have 2 cards in hand. So Yorion's a virtual card. So essentially they're going to have 4 cards. But cards like Disruptor Flute, I mean... This could have been a creature, right? Like, we're happy. Overlord's fine. It generates value, but I have so many plows. I'm not too worried about it. Karakas, you know, this tells me they could have Felia in hand because they would protect. Karakas can protect, and that might be why they didn't want us to waste. If they had printed Disruptor Flute as a creature, like an upgraded Meddling Mage or something, I would definitely be excited about playing that. They're getting some more value. So they returned Skyclave. So they have multiple Skyclaves. No, wait. They don't necessarily have multiple Skyclaves. Well, White Orchid Phantom, Stoneforge Mystic. Okay, they're getting a lot of juicy targets in their graveyard. But I think we can kill them before these flip. But Yorion flips them for us. Oh, man, Yorion's going to be an absolute beating. Yeah, I didn't really think about that. I think we might lose a Yorion flip. Next turn, they can put Yorion in their hand. So it's not like we're going to get a Thoughtseize opportunity here. Yeah, this card's so good. If you haven't watched this in action, watch some of my Esper Vial decks. Like, I always play 4 of these. I think it's insane. Okay, so unfortunately, we can't go after Yorion. They didn't put Yorion in hand, did they? I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to attack and see what we can bait out in terms of interaction. We have to just keep pressing. They take 6, they drop to 9, but Yorion creates so many of these. And we can't even plow in response, so they are going to get the triggers. I'm going to go ahead and Thoughtseize. We have plenty of life. I just want to do what damage I can to them. They have like a Solitude or something. Oh, Solitude. That's good. Okay, so I think Flicker Wisp might actually be the highest priority take here because it... yeah, I mean, I'm trying to figure out how we're going to win this. It's going to be tough. Flicker Wisp, you know, they actually have to cast the Solitude, and they can't do that in the same turn as they put the other card in their hand. Yeah, I'm going to take the Flicker Wisp here, and then I'm just going to deploy Stoneforge, notably tapping out of the second plow, so we can only plow once. But I don't think that's going to be our main issue. We don't have any creatures to return. I think we just grab Cryptic, because Cryptic can attack through, and it can also generate a bunch of blockers. Caldra does just do a ton of damage, though, and it can't be killed if they... I think Caldra's the get here. They're going to put a lot of power into play, and it's going to be very scary. We're going to see if we can win. I don't think we'll be able to win. We can surprise them with a plow, but it's important to note that like they can activate Vial and save whatever they put in their hand. So I'm almost certain they're just going to grab Yorion here. And we do need to plow Yorion, but they can Crocus it back. Yorion to the grip, and Doomsday is upon us. This deck is great. Like, I would love to play this. I don't really want to play it in the league because it doesn't have Force Well, so I'll stick to Esper Vial. I mean, leagues just are filled with combo decks like Death and Taxes, and the deck that we just played against last round is insane. Okay, so what they're going to do is they're going to Skyclave, and then they're going to activate Vial so that they can get a second trigger. And I think that's probably the plow. Yeah, I think we have to plow. They're doing it like this. I can wait until it comes into play and they target it. They're going to hit our Stoneforge Mystic most likely. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and plow now because I don't want to lose 2 permanents. They actually solituded this, which was a mistake. Like, they should have solituded the Stoneforge. So now they're not going to get a second trigger. But they are going to be able to regrow a bunch of stuff. And they can just solitude a second time here. So what they'll do is end step, they'll both of these will trigger. No, wait, whenever they enter, yeah, and whenever they attack as well. But wait, they can't get back Solitude. But they might be able to flip another Solitude. They have a lot of Solitudes in their deck. We have a high life total, but we're facing down 10 power, and they're going to be getting cards every turn from their graveyard, including right now they immediately get them. So this is not a good position to be in. I think we just have to plow one of them next turn. Yeah, they flipped to Solitude. So I think they have one more card in their hand. I think it's the Skyclave. So what they can do is they can Solitude pitch and take out our Stoneforge. So they return to Solitude, and they can return, like a Lion Sash or something like that. That's probably what they'll return. Or they can return anything in their graveyard. It doesn't have to be one of the things they milled. They return a Flicker Wisp. Okay, yeah. There's no way we're winning this. But the fact that they didn't just like Solitude there is like a crazy error, in my opinion. So we have 2 options. I think the best option is go ahead and plow one of these, and then we can Snapcast. We can Snapcast plow. They could just plow the actual thing coming in. I think that's fine if they want to do that, but then they can just... That's going to make them go down cards. I think if we just get these off the table, I think that's the thing we do here. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of one. We still can't... We still don't have good attacks. I think we just chill. This... How did this... Oh, they flashed it, so we can't use it. I didn't notice they did that. All right, I'm going to attempt to do this. See whether they... respond. I would love for them to respond and then for me to just plow this. Then we can get an attack in. They're at 17 though. It's not going to be good enough. Okay, they didn't. They opted not to respond. I'm just going to go ahead and be honest and do this face up, so I can F6 through their turn because they'll probably have lots of game actions. But we do need to get rid of this Overlord. It's just going to be too powerful. It generates too much card advantage. It's possible they rip another Caracas or something. But like them attacking us for 4 is not the end of the world. Oh, they can just Vial in the Solitude. And then they can... Yeah, we're not in a great place. I don't think it was correct to flashback Thoughtseize because they would have just solituded in response. You could argue that we should have flashback a Brainstorm. That way we could potentially get rid of this Caldra. Here's the Flicker Wisp. I mean, they could flicker. What are they going to flicker? That? Just to have a blocker? I feel like that's like a missed opportunity. They could have done a lot more. Maybe when it comes back in, they flicker. Oh, they're going to do Solitude. So they can kill 2 of our creatures. Never mind. That's a fine play. Yeah. And this is like, if you don't kill Death and Taxes, like they will always kill you. They're like the Apex Predator of fair matchups. I said earlier, this is a better matchup than Tempo is, but it's still an unfavorable one in my humble opinion. I'm not just saying that because I'm getting destroyed. So they can just bounce the Solitude. Okay, they put both of those out. So those are coming back. We don't have Consign in our deck. Consign would be something that we could do here. We're sitting ducks. I can Surveil. No, I can't even Surveil. I'm just going to concede. The game is over. Unfortunately. Like, there's no drawing out of, them, bouncing their stuff back and forth. Like, we would need, like, a series of, like, plows and, yeah. So we're 2-2. See you in round 5. Final round. We are on the draw. We've got a great hand. Unknown opponent. I'm definitely keeping this against an unknown opponent. So I definitely don't want to have to pitch the Tamiyo if we can avoid it, but I'll happily pitch it if we're up against a combo deck. They open Hierarch. So I don't think these forces are going to be particularly strong. I'll just force. Well, now I have double force. I definitely want to Bowmaster this. I think I'm going to go ahead and grab Underground Sea here since we've already got the white rep if we really need it, although I'd like to brainstorm this back into my deck and fetch it later. So they're most likely on Cradle Control. And against Cradle Control, I don't generally grab basics. Tamiyo's in. Wooded Foothills. Opponent does not attack, they just pass. Okay. So they could have Endurance here, which I need to be prepared to force. I think the simplest thing to do is go ahead and just attack and see if they do, in fact, want an Endurance here. I have to force it either way. Like, I need to be pushing forward. They are fetching here. Okay, here's Endurance. I'm just going to force pitching the redundant Tamiyo. Our graveyard is not a big deal, but I don't want to feel any pressure. I want to be able to take my time here. Now that they're tapped out, we can be pretty confident that they don't have the ability to Legolas Quick's Reflexes, which is probably not in their deck, but it could be and would be a blowout. I'm going to go ahead and poke this. So we're shields down. Okay, they scooped to that. All right, that felt pretty good. I guess, I'm not sure why they grabbed a... Are they mono green? Like, they're obviously not mono green if they're playing this. Yeah, I'm not sure why they grabbed the basic forest there. Are they fearing Wasteland? Could be that they just had a hand filled with expensive spells. So I'm going to assume they're on a Green Sun strategy. I'm not sure that it makes sense to bring in Grafdigger's Cage. Prismatic Ending does come in. It's really good against them. With main deck Endurance, Snapcaster does get worse. But I feel like being able to snap back a plow may be really key. My instinct is to take out Teferi. It's just not that strong here. And it's very vulnerable to attacks, and they probably have their own Bowmasters. I don't generally cut Thoughtseize against these types of decks but it is a pretty bad top deck. So I think I'll cut one of those. We'll try to answer their board with removal. So a very light sideboard. Once we know a little more about their deck, we can sideboard differently next turn. This is a mulligan. We can't keep hands that don't have blue mana. They have also mulliganed. Okay, well, this is probably just an Underground Sea Ponder. And then if we don't find action for some reason, yeah, I'm going to keep this. I mean, the other option is I could put back the Thoughtseize. All these cards are great. I don't know what to put back. Stoneforge Mystic can potentially get us a pre-war firmware, which is really good against them because I think they may have Plow, but they were playing the green-black red Hierarch instead. So I think that likely they don't have access to exile-based removal. So I'm going to keep a removal heavy hand. Maybe we do put back the Stoneforge Mystic. It's hard. Maybe we put back the Brainstorm. I think I'm going to put back Brainstorm. Brainstorm is like a great late game card. I mean, it's not bad, but we don't have anything to put back. Like, our entire hand is great. Again, that is contingent on us finding mana. Okay, another Hierarch. So we could just bolt the bird here. Slow their development. They did mull. I kind of like just... yeah, I do think we go Underground Sea into Ponder here. This time they got a different Hierarch. So I still really don't know what they're on, but I think it'd be cowardly to not fetch an Underground Sea here, considering how much black we have in our hand. We have 21 lands. Come on, show us one. Okay, we got 2. This is great. And Kaito's great too. I want to draw both of these. I'm going to draw Kaito later, and I'll just start by drawing this Tundra. So I think next turn we're almost certainly just going to poke. If they start wasting us, that'll kind of suck. But we will rebuild. Okay, white. Great card to plow. They're going to come in for a hug first. This doesn't... You have to sacrifice a creature. Elvish Reclaimer. Man, this card is a chore. I'm thinking what we do... is we probably plow the white and then we Thoughtseize them. That gives them more turns to do stuff, but that way we can do 2 things. I think merely poking this is not sufficient right now. Well, let's go ahead and Thoughtseize first. That might give us some insight that we need to decide what to plow. But I'm almost certain that we plow the white here. I have Springheart and Nantuko, which is an ordeal, potentially. They do have the mana to use it. They can go very wide. We do have Bowmasters, though, to deal with it. But if they start putting copies of either of these in play, it's really bad. We could just... we're not going to be able to stun because we won't have enough mana. It's at least 2 turns from stunning. My instinct is to just go after both the whites and then hope that we can get like a Caldra or something online that can ignore like having a whole broad army, which is what they'll be able to get through Springheart and Nantuko. Yeah, I'm going to do it. And then if I wait till they put Springheart on the stack, I can target whatever they're bestowing. But that does give them an extra activation with Reliquary. But it can't sacrifice another creature. Well, I mean, it can't sacrifice itself. My instinct is just to plow right now and just mitigate their ability to go find stuff. They might be able to assemble Dark Depths really quickly with these 2. Yeah. So that was a lot of deliberation. That was a very long turn. It was like 3 minutes. But, I mean, I think this is the critical turn. Thoughtseize was really good there. So here comes Springheart. Oh, Once Upon a Time. This is great. I'm happy to see this. If they find a land, though, they can still Springheart. They found a Surveil land, which is great for us. Surveil the Bojuka Bog, which... Okay, so I think next turn we're just going to ping the Noble Hierarch. Restrict their mana a little bit. Springheart and Nantuko, they don't currently have a land that we know of to trigger landfall. The other option is, of course, just to go get Caldra. If they don't have anything going on, Caldra might actually be fine. I'm worried that they could draw like a natural order and just win. I think I'm going to be a coward here. So we're drawing wild next turn. We'll have 2 potential attackers here. So we could just kamikaze the Bowmasters and get Kaito on the table. And if they bestow on this, then okay, they've got another thing that we can potentially ping here. Okay, they're playing out their entire hand, so Thoughtseize is a bad draw from here on out. They should come in. Yeah, and that's fine. I'm just going to let it come in. I'm not too concerned about my life total here. What we draw will dictate whether we Bowmaster plus Stoneforge or whether we Kaito. If we draw a land... Okay, I think we probably Bowmaster plus go get Caldra. That's my instinct. Because that removes the most material from the board. That buffs our army. We can go ahead and come in for a hug here. It may make sense to go ahead and get a Plains just to mitigate the risk of them ripping a choke. However, we do need black to ensure that we can deploy Kaito next turn. If they wasted our black, that would be bad. White is not... Well, we need white to be able to deploy the Caldra. I think I'm going to get the Plains just to mitigate choke. I don't think they're likely playing choke, but if they are, it's a blowout. And we can't necessarily win anymore. It's really hard to win with choke when like almost all your lands are locked down. Is this still Caldra? I think it is. Yeah, they need we can easily race them with Caldra, even if they're creating duplicates. Like if they find a fetch, that's pretty good for them. Okay, this is a landfall trigger, so they can make a copy of this Elvish Reclaimer. And Elvish Reclaimer itself can pay 2 mana to go do stuff. But we're going to lock this down. This can attack for a lot. This is they just scooped. Okay. All right. Well, that's a 3-2 record. Pretty happy with that. Let's take a look at the spoils of our journey here. Let's take another look at the list. That last matchup, I don't think we're favored at all. I'm not sure, like our opponent must have had bad luck that they were mulliganing both games, because that deck, you don't really need to mulligan that much, in my humble opinion. But in this matchup against Bosch and Roll, which is on his channel, my deck, my blue-black tempo deck, I had to mulligan 4 times with 19 land in the deck to find a land. It was embarrassing. And then, of course, I just got destroyed. He had like an extremely gassy hand. And that happened right on the Bosch and Roll channel for thousands of people to watch. So if you're wondering, when you watch that video, like, oh, Be Excellent, I know him, I watch his videos. Yeah, I just had extremely bad luck. And variance comes for us all, right? There's not much we can do about it other than just play. This list, I think, has a really robust mana base, 21 lands. I did like the fact that we had so much land, because we did always need, like there were turns where we just couldn't deploy everything we wanted to deploy. Part of that is because we're playing a control deck with higher mana constraints than this is what I'm usually playing and what I'll probably play in the next video, my blue-black tempo list. But I think that if you want to play Stoneblade, like those Thoughtseize were incredible the entire league. I strongly recommend playing Thoughtseize. I think it's in some ways maybe better than Daze, but you could play it in conjunction with Daze if you wanted to, which is what I've been doing. But you don't necessarily need Daze to beat combo, and we did beat Sneak and Show, for example, without Daze, which felt great. So it is possible to play a control deck that can win against combo, but you do need to get a little bit luckier. Tempo is definitely a more sure way, not a more sure way, not a sure way. You get more certainty that you're going to win. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the deck. It felt really fun. Kaito was great. I don't remember whether we resolved Teferi. I played this league out across 3 days, and I got sick in the middle of it, so a little bit of it's a blur. But I had a fun time, and Bowmasters continues to be worth playing 4 of. I'm trying to think of a matchup where Bowmasters wasn't relevant. It was relevant against, I think we faced Death and Taxes in this league. Did we? It's really good against that. It's good against, obviously, Cradle Control, because you're 2-for-1ing them when you take out their mana dorks and stuff. But like, if I had one card to recommend that everybody be considering playing right now, it is Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize seems really strong right now. It's good against any sort of AB combo deck, and most of the combo decks out there are AB combo. And it's a way to, fight through a whole lot of counter magic heavy matchups. Like, for example, Oops All Spells, which has its own discard and often plays Pact of Negation. And if you can just go straight to the I Win card and take that out of their hand, then you don't have to fight on the stack over it. And you can fight over the Thoughtseize instead, which is usually more favorable, because if they're playing a card like Pact of Negation, they can really only pact on their turn when they're going off and about to win. They can't really pact any other time, or they'll lose the game. So Thoughtseize is great for that. So again, if you're considering playing a deck right now without Daze in it, I would say Thoughtseize should be like something that you should consider putting in there. Tomio continues to overperform. I liked having access to the plow. Whenever I plow somebody, I'm always like, is this that much better than Fatal Push? And I think in this league, I'm trying to think of situations where it was better than Fatal Push. But Fatal Push is a really good card if you know how to do it. And there are lots of tricks to get Revolt turned on. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I had a blast. I hope you enjoy playing Stoneblade. Stoneforge Mystic, she is hard to get out. Like 2 mana at sorcery speed is hard to do when you also want to be able to like hold up mana for Brainstorm, or you want to get around Days and all this stuff. But, she is a great value creature that you can build a deck around. There are also some Jeskai builds. I don't think those are quite as strong because it's harder for them to disrupt combo. I think Thoughtseize and Bowmasters are plenty of reason to be in black, and while you're there, why not throw a Kaito in your deck? So, Kaito continues to be one of my favorite cards as well. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.